This is going to be my second video. I have no idea if the volume is as bad as it was yesterday. I hope it isn't. But, I mean, either way, I'm recording it because I made it yesterday, but I uploaded it today, and I want to keep, like, a schedule. So, like, I have some sort of semblance of organization. I feel like that would be kind of helpful. And, beyond that, I kind of just had something on my mind anyways. Like, I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about Corona or about what I'm gonna talk about, which is all the shit that's been going on with the gaming community. I feel like the only way I could like legitimately talk about it and kind of get it off my mind is just rambling on, kind of like I did in the last video, but at least now I'll have a bit more focus and just talking about like YouTube videos and like my relationship to it. Because I mean the thing with this is that like legitimately like it's an actual like issue. And it's an issue that's like it's more than just like a one-time thing. Like it's obviously been going on for a while. Everybody knows it's been going on for a while, but nobody did anything about it. Like up until now, I mean. Like obviously the people who came out and like actually stood against the abusers, they're fucking like great people. If anything, it must have been scary like actually taking that moment to come out against it. Cause like in a lot of the stories, like there's so much where the abused have to like go through some time of like people being critical of them, making assumptions that they're like doing this either to like tear somebody down or like for personal gain, but really it's just because they want to have like justice served and they want to like see the people who abuse them like not get away with it. They want to see those people like actually like be put to justice, not have to ever see anybody else deal with that. Because a lot of these people, it's not even that they do it to like one person in particular. Like I guarantee, like even the ones that say like they did it against one particular person, I guarantee like a good few of people making those claims just to like try to limit the severity of what they did. I I would not doubt that they did it to a lot more people than just that one. It's never just one fucking person. Um, Like I used to be really conservative, really right leaning, and I used to like be in all those like gaming communities and what have you, whatnot. And a lot of them were effectively the same in that a lot of them like to downplay personal issues or like ignore those sorts of things that they do that they know they shouldn't do. And I mean, not throwing shade at like everybody, but it's just like a large enough amount that it's legitimately concerning. And I feel like this sort of thing is bound to happen again, or at the very least, if somehow they manage to like just strike down all of them at once, there's gonna be still like emergent issues, like people like popping up here and there that are doing shit that's having things happen. Um, like a big issue, obviously, is just like the inherent like power differential between like the content creator and their fans. I mean, like whether or not it's a kid or an adult, like it's fucked to be like using your fame or clout to like extract sexual favors out of people, but it's even worse when it's against children, and it's even worse when it's against people that are just vulnerable emotionally or mentally or what have you. And because a lot of this is going to come down to whether or not people take initiative in like really finding it and really acting out. And beyond just the people who are being abused taking initiative, but the people that try to convince the abused that what they went through is normal or okay or that it wasn't that big of a deal, that those people as well need to really just stop that behavior. I mean, it's not that easy to say just stop it, because it's almost like a little societal phenomenon or whatever, where people back each other up because they're in the same community. But still, like, it's got to come to a point where people like decide where like they don't want to just cover people's asses when they do all that sort of shit. Because I mean, if they do, then obviously it's just gonna happen again, and that's what we've seen. Like they cover their ass long enough for them to pull it off on another person, and we don't know how many times it's gonna happen. Oh, there's Flamey Boy. I know the rock fuckers here, but it's gonna happen a lot more and a lot more frequently too. Especially if people still refuse to do anything about it. And God, I don't know, because I mean, again, I've always wanted to get into videos and shit. I've always wanted to make content. You know, I never knew how to edit shit. And like seeing all these communities that like you would have at one point assumed were like perfect and the people were like flawless or whatever. It's fucking crazy like seeing it just be shown for what it really is. And in a lot of cases, it's people just pooling together enough popularity and fame and money and clout and just fuck, what's the word for it? Forget it. My point still stands. It's just awful because they have all that influence. That's what it was. All that influence, and it's so easy to use against the fucking people that watch them, the people that support them, and like assume the very best about them. Because like a lot of these people, like they express themselves like larger than life figures, and because of that, it's like so easy for them to get away with shit because everyone assumes that they're just flawless, that like everything they did do was like a one-time slip up or like a just a little accident. And like obviously it isn't anywhere near an accident. Like people know what they're doing when they do that type of shit, but people don't want to admit that. People don't want to think about the possibility of their like idols and fans being abusers. But it's to a point where we have to. Like people constantly have to be aware of it. I don't think it's a thing where people have to like necessarily, well, I mean, like it would be good if we're proactive, but it's not something where we have to keep people scared. I mean, if you're like, a lot of people take it as something where people are hunting people down or performing a witch hunt, when in all reality, it's just like trying to keep people safe. And a lot of people, I've seen people take like taking further action as like somehow a bad thing or like something that's gonna make people afraid of staying on the platform. But I mean, if people are afraid of being on the platform because they could be ousted as like a sexual abuser, pedophile, I mean, like, the only legitimate reason they'd have to be afraid of that is if they are legitimately a abuser or pedophile. And again, it's not something I want to assume or consider, but it's one of those things that people start to have to. Because, I mean, again, like, how long have people been doing that for? Like, how long have those people been doing that for? I don't even remember particular names. There are way too many. Like, it's to the point where, like, individual pedophiles don't even stand out now. Because, I mean, obviously now there's, like, fucking 60 of them in, like, a single community. I mean, the Smash Bros. Community got, like, shunted to hell because of how many of them, like fucking touching kids and all that shit. But it's just a question of, like, how much more are people gonna tolerate and let, like, slide by? Because really, it's gonna happen more. I guarantee it. I've been repeating myself way too much, but like sometimes I feel like there's no choice but to repeat yourself because a lot of people like turn their heads against it, and I don't know. Um, and I don't know what other communities might be facing that too, because I mean I know for a fact that level 4. Hold on. I know for a fact that there I don't know because there's a good fucking possibility that at least like one of them are innocent, but even at that, even with one of them being innocent, like what about the rest? You know? And what's going to be left of these communities too? Like I feel like one statement that people should focus on more, again, that thing I was saying earlier about how people like think that people would be afraid of doing the work if they can be ousted as like pedophiles or abusers, when really, I mean, like people need evidence for that in the first place. But I feel like that kind of mindset is really unhealthy and works way too much in the favor of defending abusers. Um, 'Cause I mean, like, wait a minute. 'Cause I mean, like, if you're gonna firstly go in the favor of the abusers, like, then what's to stop them? Why wouldn't they stay on their platform? I mean, people should want to be proactive in defending their platforms and like getting in the way of it before it's this big. I mean, it's already like its own monster kind of in the community, and it's bound to just get fucking worse. God damn it. I'll just take this last little bit, not even like focusing on the game, but like it's bound to get worse. Like 2020 has been a fucking crazy year. Now like half the people we know have been ousted as like abusers. And sure, we're like a year ago maybe I would have like freaked out seeing that. Now I see it and I'm just like, who else? You know, like who else is like that? Who else is doing that? Who else is trying to normalize that? Cause I don't know. Cause I remember a particular wow, that guy's fucked. I remember a particular one where this girl, some friend on Discord was like telling me about it, where this girl was in this house, like this fucking house where like all the gamers go to or whatever. Like it was the one that Pokimane was in, and I heard she like dipped after she found out about it. And the thing that's going on is that basically this dude was just groping them in their sleep. He'd like go into their beds drunk as hell, grope them, and then the next day, like, say he didn't remember it, he didn't know what was going on. And obviously, that was like a little facade to play so that, like, the women would just, like, brush it off and try to, like, convince themselves that it was nothing and that they were just, like, making too big a deal out of it by worrying about it. And the only reason that they really took action against it is that they came together, like, all of them. And there were more women than there should have been. And they all got together and realized, like, this shouldn't be happening. This is wrong. And I hope that I mean, obviously, like, I don't even want there to be that many fucking people dealing with this shit, but I hope at the very least, if this ever does happen, like, victims can have it easier, like, finding people that have been through the same things as them, because it's to a point where I feel like that's the only way we can guarantee change will come around. That's the only time people feel safe speaking out, because apparently people feel like their conscious has God, I'm like slipping up on my words, but like it's like people feel better with their conscience knowing that they've defended an abuser rather than the abused. Because I mean, obviously like the abuser typically is the one with fucking clout and the one with social standing. I mean, that's the only way they'd be able to get away with being abused or with being an abuser. But God, it's just fucking awful. Like, I'm stuttering, I'm like slipping up on my words, but it's like, I mean, why wouldn't I? I don't know what to say on it because it's like such a fucked topic. It's such like a deep running issue, and I have no idea how long it's gonna stay up going like that. And I feel like it's gonna definitely keep up, but I mean, for now, the best thing we can do, because one thing I'm at least aware of the Smash community doing is they're trying to police themselves, which honestly is a great step forward. And whoever's like legitimately putting effort into that, like you gotta commend them for it. Like what has to happen, what I think has to happen, rather than just saying like what's wrong, but like what has to happen is that people have to start like policing their communities, and not just people that are in on it, but people that are fine like ousting out their own idols, which is just something people have to be ready to do, sadly, but it's just a part of the life. I mean, whenever people get that much power, it's got to be assumed that they're going to abuse it, or that they can. I mean, because a lot of these people, like, a lot of the fucking, like, gamer bros and what have you, like, obviously didn't always have the most luxurious social lifestyles before they got all that clout and what have you. But that's not an excuse. It's not like a defense of what they do. It's just saying it as it is and why it gets to that point. But it's got to get to the point where people feel comfortable policing their own communities. And if they can't, then at the very least, people have to start. Shit, fuck, that's. God. Fuck it. People have to start, like, actually getting outside agents to police their communities for them. Those will be the only people that are comfortable really, like, looking at the issue and saying, okay, this guy did something wrong. He should be called out this way. Because, I mean, like, even if, like, people in the communities, like, see the issues, you can't really be, I mean, like, it's fucking awful, but you can't be surprised if they, like, try to downplay the issue that are taking place in their communities, try to downplay what their idols do. I mean, that's just how it is. When you look up to somebody, you're going to try to defend them subconsciously. Even if you're, like, trying to do what's right, you're obviously going to, like, lay the issue low. And the only way to really combat that, to really get around that in the future, is if we have, like, independent agents without, like, any form of connection or care about the idols. It'd be best if there was just like a group of people you could count on, just not even knowing the content these people make, or not even being aware of like what these people do, because like then you wouldn't have to worry about them like trying to defend the abusers and all that. But anyways, this is just like something that was on my mind, just a little thought, what have you, something I felt was worth talking about. And hopefully it's something that people do. I mean, obviously nobody's gonna hear what I have to say, but like, I mean, hopefully people think of it on their own without me having to tell them, and hopefully more people pick up on just having a way of policing their communities. Like, social communities need a way to be policed, and otherwise it's just gonna turn into a hellhole, shitholes full of people grooming and just doing all sorts of shit with each other they shouldn't. And I mean, I'm not religious, but I pray that people get to that. I really do. Because, I mean, these communities are like a nice little part of life, a nice little thing to have around. And it's always awful seeing it collapse like that, but at the same time, it's kind of necessary if it's really getting that bad. So, I mean, hopefully people just find a way to really deal with it and fix it. But yeah, just saying what's on my mind, saying what I'm thinking, and hopefully whoever sees the video agrees with me too. And at that, I mean, I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope, despite everything going on, people are like finding it in themselves to just be a little calm, be a little collected, and really think about everything that's going on. But I'll see everybody later until I decide to make a new video. If anybody does watch to see me say this, and hope everybody's good.